What's going on, guys? D. Anthony here with Evolution Traders. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about the best time to trade the NQ, which is the NASDAQ 100. Now, depending on if you are a standalone futures trader, whether you're coming from options and equities, you're coming from crypto, or a lot of you guys right now are coming and migrating over from the Forex space into futures and kind of stumbling across a lot of videos and a lot of information on the NASDAQ, which, you know, for me, the NASDAQ is my number one trader. I don't really trade the ES, which is the S&P, but I know that the ES as well as the NASDAQ are two of the biggest futures asset classes that people like to trade. Now, there's a couple of things that need to get out of the way, a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the different time frames where you can trade the futures market, because ultimately the futures market is open 23 hours a day for 6 days a week. Now, if you're coming, depending on where you're coming from, or if you're just brand new starting off in futures, if you have no experience altogether, I would recommend to stick to the New York session. Okay, so I'm located in California. For me, it's going to be between 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can correlate that to your time zone. Now, if you're coming from stocks and equities, then you're already familiar with this time frame, and you guys can, I would recommend to stay in that same time frame because you're already watching the price action as it is. Now, if you're coming from the Forex side of things, where, you know, maybe you're trading the Asian session or London session, or you're trading a little bit of New York session, you're trading overnight, you're used to prop firms where you can swing trade this, that, and the other, and you're putting on these swings in the middle of the night and you're coming back 2 or 3 days later, futures is going to be a little bit different. Now, you can still trade in the overnight session. I just call it the pre-market session. So for me, it's any time after midnight into 6:30 at the open. I just call it pre-market, right? So whether you want to call it London session or Asian session, this, that, and the other. Now, what I have here is Friday's price action, and I have us coming from, 1 o'clock in the morning, midnight, all the way into the market open here. Now, you can see that there is some moves, right? There are some moves here in the overnight session. So this is right as the future session is going to, lapse over from one day to another. And then you can also see another move here. Normally after 4:30, 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you get this move into the open, and then you get all of this overlapping New York session time. Now, depending on what market environment that we are currently in, which for, the better half of this year, obviously, and a little bit into the end of 2023, the market has been on a raging bull tear, meaning that a lot of these moves have been going higher. Now, this last week, we did have some pullbacks, and market conditions and environments can change on a day-by-day, even week-by-week, month-by-month basis. What I have noticed as of late is that there's a lot of initial movement, okay, in the pre-market leading into the New York open, which is here, right? So between 4 a.m. my time and the market open at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, there's a heck of a lot of movement, and we're getting one initial move, and then we're getting kind of like a mean reversion trade, and then a continuation of the move that was put in the pre-market. Now, is that going to, stay the same? Of course not. If I can kind of remember, the better half of my career, which I've been trading for 9.5, almost 10 years, normally I'm ignoring what we're doing in the pre-market session, and what I'm looking for is the first move, right? Whether it be up or down, to get confirmed after the first hour candle. Okay. If you're not kind of following along with me, join Evolution Traders. We can get on a one-on-one call and I can kind of explain a little bit better. But typically, that's how I like to trade. I like to see what is the opening move off the gates. So for example, between 6:30 and 7, what are those highs? What are those lows? And do we confirm either one of these prices? And typically that price that gets confirmed is the all-day trend. Now, as of late, the market hasn't been playing like that. What the market is doing now is it's giving you these big moves in the pre-market, and then you're getting a little bit of a reversion trade, but you can find and easily spot those out and jump back in on the side of the move in the pre-market. Does that make sense? So whatever move we're getting in the pre-market, typically off the open, we reverse. There's some sort of rejection spot, and it's around here in this specific area where you're trying to locate the best potential opportunity to get back in on the existing move in the pre-market. Now, again, this is going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a little bit of practice. So what I would recommend would be this: depending on the time that you're allowed and have available to trade is the time that you should trade. So I wouldn't personally try to find, where can I find the biggest moves? Where is the best, mean reversion trade? Where is the best follow through? Maybe I should trade slower price action in the overnight session. No. If you have time, I would definitely recommend sticking with a little bit of pre-market, at least an hour before the New York Open, and then the first 2 hours of the day. So for me personally, again, all of this that I'm stating is what works best for me. What I like to trade is between 6 a.m. and around 10 a.m. Okay. This is my sweet spot. And why it's my sweet spot is because we still have a lot of volatility from the pre-market. We get a nice move here and then we get a follow through here. Now, is it like this every day? Of course not, but I like to stick with that. If you don't have time to trade the New York session, maybe you can trade the overnight session into the market open, and you're going to try to ride one of these waves either up or down. If we're doing a little bit of choppiness action, maybe you want to stay out of the way altogether. But again, the best time to trade the NQ futures is the time that you have available to spend at least 2 to 3 hours on the charts. That's the simple answer. If you don't have time to trade off the open, don't trade it. If you don't have time to trade overnight, don't trade it. Where can you dedicate 2 to 3 hours? That's the time frame I want you guys to stick to. I hope you guys have found some value out of this video. If you did not, leave me a thumbs down. If you did, leave me a thumbs up. If you guys want to trade with me and get access to all of my strategies and community and one-on-one mentorship, join Evolution Traders down below. If you guys are just coming over into the future side of things, you want to get funded with a prop firm, I work with Apex as well as Top Step. Those links are down in the description box below. I'll see all of you guys on the next one.